Welcome to Bengals on the Brain. I am Joe Goodberry on Cincinnati Bengals Talk YouTube channel. And some of you may know me already. That's probably why you're tuning in right now. But for those of you that don't, I spent about 10 years writing about the Bengals, blogging about the Bengals, using data, analysis, film evaluation, scouting players, writing scouting reports, hosting a podcast, doing video breakdowns on different websites, and I had a good time. But I stepped away for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now, almost exactly. And James Rapine and them, they got me back on board, and I'm excited to do so. Obviously this is a very good team, very exciting time in Cincinnati, watching the Cincinnati Bengals, and as far as they went last year, and hoping they go take that final step eventually. If it's not now, very soon, right? Preseason game 1 seems like a good spot to kick off, and it's preseason for us too. So, work with me as I shake off the rust just a little bit here. Obviously, the big storylines for preseason and what you're looking for, and it's not really about the wins and losses, right? We know this. If you're tuning in here, it's because you want a little bit more than that. It's about the player evaluation. It's about how do these guys perform under the lights for the first time. A lot of them for the first time, and a lot of the guys we're going to focus on today did, especially the rookies. And maybe guys have, developed in the offseason, put on weight, slimmed down, whatever the case may be. We want to know what those guys look like for the first time for 2022, especially, if they're going to play big roles for this team and helping bring that championship home. And I think 5, 6, 8 years, we've been talking about offensive line since about 2015, 2016. Last time it was really good. I hate to start there again. I kind of don't want to at all, but we're going to. None of the starters played. Maybe we should start with that, right? None of the starters played for the Bengals. I got a lot of messages on Twitter of, where'd all that money go that they spent on the offensive line? Well, Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and La'el Collins did not play. We didn't even see Jonah Williams either. The only offensive lineman scheduled to be with the starters, and he's in a camp battle based on what Zach Taylor has told us, is Jackson Carman, last year's second-round pick out of Clemson, who dealt with a back injury last year as a rookie, dealt with normal rookie issues, but couldn't find his way out on the field at the end of the season when the Bengals needed him the most. Sounds like he's getting first crack at left guard this year, where he played mostly right guard last year, besides that Chiefs game at the end, Week 17, where he did play left. And the Bengals had a very successful offensive day. So where is Carman now that he's healthy? Now that he's at his natural side on the left side there, does that make him better? Does that make him who many thought his upside could be as a power left guard for the Cincinnati Bengals? Let's look at the tape. You're going to see a lot of jump sets out of Jackson Carman here at left guard, number 79, which means he wants to get out there quick, get out to the defensive tackle, get hands on him, and control him. You'll see here, though, man, his pad level is just too high, just makes him look too weak, gets put on skates right into the lap of Brandon Allen. Here's it is at full speed, and we're going to show this jump set a lot because that's what he wants to do. Again, see, he's out there, bang, gets on him, but look where his hands are. His hands are wrapped around the outside of the defender and along the back, and when the quarterback breaks the pocket and runs, a flag was thrown, and that's the way it's going to look. Anytime that guy's past your hips like that and you're still holding around the backside, the ref's going to see that and throw a flag every time. So 2 reps, 2 quick losses there just based on hand placement and not staying down with his leverage. Now that's what it looks like when he wins, right? So you're going to see the quick hand, left hand, bang. He's going to knock this guy, slow him down. It'll be the first punch. He's going to get on this guy very quickly as the ball snapped right here. Boom, left hand on him, slowed him down, get the right hand down there, and then bury him. That's what, in Jackson Carman's mind, how it's going to go every single time for him. He's very aggressive, wants to get out there, wants to get his hands. And you see here on the stunt, this is what defenses are going to do. So as Carman gets out here, gets his hands on the defender as quickly as possible, he's got to also be aware and not be too attached to that first guy and be able to slide, not spin and allow a quarterback hit. We're going to get a very direct play to compare with Cordell Volson, who we assume is battling for this other left guard job, where he is much more balanced and patient and in tune with his left tackle. So the tape wasn't pretty, right? Jackson Carman played 33 snaps, 21 pass blocking snaps. He was charged by PFF for 4 pressures. I would agree with that based on what I saw. He also was charged with a penalty, very low grades for them. I was just looking at how all the guards or all the offensive linemen ranked from the last 2 draft classes. He's 3rd from the bottom right now, from off of 1 preseason game all of the last 2 draft classes. So we got 80-something players there, and he's third from the bottom in terms of true pass sets, which means no play action, no screen passes or misdirections or anything like that. It's just drop back passing situations. And I think Jackson Carman looked like Jackson Carman from last year, and that's largely disappointing and worrisome. I think when we see a guy that's that big, that strong, and actually I think he moves decently well for a big guy like that. When he gets his hands on you, especially in the run game, it wasn't all bad. That's just mostly pass blocking stuff because that's what we care about. Trying to protect the franchise here. We want Joe Burrow to stay upright. Jackson Carman can move guys in the run game. I have no doubt about that at all. I have issues, obviously, with his over-aggressiveness at times. I mean, maybe it's the coaches telling him to get those jump sets, get his hands on guys, and just start mauling because that's what he is, right? You kind of want those guys to do that. But I would almost say let's see him be a little more patient here and let's see him just sit back and maybe he can anchor a little bit better because his pad level is an issue. I think he's bending at the waist a little bit too much instead of bending at the knees. And it just might be a back thing, right? And that guys with former back issues do have issues at times playing low and playing level. He's playing, I said during the game, I said he plays still like an offensive tackle that he was at Clemson. You have more space as an offensive tackle. You can be a little more upright as an offensive tackle. You can let the guys get into you and then, battle off that. At guard, it's so much quicker, so much rougher. You really got to play with leverage because the pass rushers aren't coming at 6'5", not normally. They're coming at you at 6'1", 2, 3, maybe even 6'4" at the most. So they're going to get under you, and you got to play with great pad level. And Carman's definitely struggling with that. And if it's a real battle between him and Cordell Volson, last year's fourth, I'm going to mess up my first video here. 4th or 5th round pick, doesn't matter, 4th round pick, I believe it was, out of North Dakota State. Great program, D2 school, but I mean, those guys come out pro ready in terms of knowing what they know and being a pro run style offense. Just their level of competition. Where's Volson going to be when we see him? And that's the next guy we're going to turn to here. I thought Volson looked really good, but let's put on the tape. Let's see what he did right here. Now we're not going in order here because I wanted to show Cordell Volson picking up the stunt the way Jackson Carman struggled to on that quarterback hit. And here you go. Bang, bang. I mean, being aware, being a rookie from a small school like this, he seemed very prepared. The moment didn't seem too big at all for him. You get contact with your guy, drive him into your tackle, pass him off, get your hands back in position quickly, and use your left leg there to really lean on the power and drive that guy out of there. Again, same thing, right? You're passing that off to your tackle here. Good job by Isaiah Prince, too, on that stunt in the previous play. I wanted to say that. But good pass off. Okay, no one else is coming. Come back, help out your center. And sure, maybe that just saves the quarterback from a hit, right? You get the ball off. I just was impressed with Volson's movement skills. Look at him here shooting out of a cannon. This is the first snap he took. And he gets on that linebacker and erases him. If this was a good run play, he was there. And this was a couple plays later, too. Look how fast he's getting off the snap. I mean, like almost too fast, right? Him and the center are moving at the same time. Center's hips moved before his hand moved, but that's some good communication with your center there. And here he is with Ben Brown, rookie 62, and a nice combo block on this nose tackle. Again, good communication and timing with these guys. They're going to make the nose tackle's knee buckle. Brown's going to pick up that middle linebacker, and the running back's going to make a jump cut off of them. Really good block by those two. And this is a very similar play to the one that Carman lost, right? The quarterback's going to bail the pocket. He's going to run out of there. But you're going to see Volson continue to play and get his guy into the dirt. And he's 15 yards away, and he's still going at it. It's a theme with him. Here he is again in the end zone. He's driving this guy. I'll show you that play one more time, a little bit slower. Ben Brown and him, again, driving that nose tackle deep. This is a touchdown play. Running back's going to extend for it. The play's done now. It's done. He doesn't care. He's driving that guy out of the play. I like that. I like the effort from Volson so much more than what we saw from the other guys at that spot. And again, here's a little bit of awareness on the last drive there. You need a touchdown on this last one. And Volson picks up the nickel corner blitzing there. So again, he looked much more aware than the competition at left guard. So the previous tape looked like Jackson Carman, how he always was at Clemson and in the first year of Cincinnati. I think this tape of Cordell Volson looked exactly like Cordell Volson. It's funny how that works. That's how he looked at North Dakota State University, D2 school, but produces these guys. at a high level. I mean, they really, for D2 schools, their run game in the system looks like a pro system. These guys come out pro ready, just without level of competition. You know, you want to see Cordell Volson go against these guys. And I think that's where we're at, right? So he gets 21 pass blocking snaps versus Jackson Carman's 21. He doesn't allow a pressure. Now, he's going against lesser competition, but it wasn't like Carman was going against studs either. There were backups for the Cardinals. No starters were in this game again. So what is the next step for Volson, right? I thought he'd be like this nasty through the whistle type run blocker, and we saw that week 1 against the Cardinals. I think we knew he'd be a good run blocker, within time. I think it's harder when you got backups around you, or maybe guys that aren't going to make the NFL, because it's such a cohesive process. Run blocking is something that has to be done from an entire unit. You know, you got to be in sync with your center and tackle, and even the whole system, the whole offensive line, tight ends included, and backs. You got different backs in there. You got to know what they're going to do and how quickly they're going to make their decisions and cut off you. Point being is, while I thought Carman is the more powerful run blocker right now, I didn't have a problem with Cordell Volson's run blocking. I think PFF gave him like a 76. Cordell Volson in pass pro was clean, great. I mean, picking up the stunts. Right there, I'm like, okay, I've seen enough. We need him to protect Joe Burrow. And then picking up that nickel blitzer from the side. Yeah, the ball's just about to be thrown away, and he really doesn't get a great shot on him. But still, there's a few plays there that directly contrast he and Carman. Losing the initial pad level on the one and then staying with the guy and driving him 15 yards downfield and eventually dumping him off as the quarterback runs around the outside. Very similar play to the first one we point out for Carman, where he gets the guy is underneath him and he can't re-anchor and can't, hit that power leg and push that guy around the pocket and through the pocket. So, I was very happy with Volson. It's funny, same thing I said for Carman being third from the bottom in true pass sets. When I look at just rookies that have played so far that PFF has graded, there's a few games left that need to be added. There's 50-something rookies on the offensive line total. This isn't just guards. Number 1 in true pass sets for highest grade is Cordell Volson at the time of recording this. That's impressive. It means he had a game. Now again, we've seen this before. Different staffs, different players. But we remember Christian Westerman 5 years or so ago. He would have preseason performances. A lot of people are like, yeah, this guy's got to start. Never would get there. Because there's a lot more that happens behind the scenes. And our evaluation of a performance or what PFF may say isn't what the coaches see, right? Evan Mathis, 10 years ago plus. Geez, more than that, man. But Nate Livings would continue to play. And, it's not always exactly what you see on the field. Like right now, they're practicing 8-10 times for every one game they play. So there's a lot of evaluation happening that's not on game day. There's a lot of meetings and coaching up that happens mentally, and guys can take steps there or not. That all has an effect on how coaches view these guys. So it's not just what happens on Sundays. I know, and that was Friday, but point being is, what is the next step for Volson, Cordell Volson? If the coaches see it and see the same game we all saw that we thought looked as clean as it did, does he start to get reps with number ones? Because really it looks like it's been all Carman in camp. And camp's just about over, for all intents and purposes. They still have a lot of practice time and a lot of preseason to go. But I'd like to see Volson start to get a few of those snaps at the very least. I'd like to see if it continues. I mean, if he puts another great performance like this against third and fourth stringers, guys that aren't going to make the NFL, what is that really worth? Well, we know he's better than that. We want to see if he can be a starter. Going against the Giants this week, you get a solid defensive line rotation. Can he get against those guys? It's week 2 preseason. You think starters may play a little bit more? Maybe you give half of those to Carman, half of those to Volson, and just see what happens. Burrow's not going to be out there by then, right? So what are you really risking? Now's the time to do it for a guy coming from D2 if he needs the reps and the practice and the cohesion with this unit. You want to start getting that probably before week 3. You want to start getting that offensive line week 3 of the preseason. Before that, you want to start getting that first team unit offensive line together and taking reps consistently. Kappa was dealing with injury. La'el Collins was dealing with injury. So those guys are still late to the fold. Now's the time to do it and see if it's Volson and really push with it and see what you can do. Good scores for Volson on a first preseason game. Not great for Jackson Carman other than a few run blocking snaps. We're going to go to another rookie though. And it's the first pick. It's Dax Hill. The guy stood out completely with a bunch of backups, but he should, right? He's talking about a 99th percentile type athlete, a high recruit type athlete that was a first round pick that should stand out amongst his peers in a first preseason game the way he did. And man, did he. He looked really good.
Checking in on the first pick for the Bengals this year, Dax Hill at safety. Man, he stood out with all these backups and, some third stringers getting sprinkled in as he played the whole first half. He just looked quicker, faster, more athletic, making plays on multiple passes. Really impressive performance from him to start his NFL career. Yeah, preseason and all that. But when you make a play on a ball, high point it in man coverage against a slot receiver like that, look at him sticky. No worry, not grabbing the guy. I mean, he obviously is approaching that as if that's his ball. He's the more athletic guy of the two, and he's going to make a play on it. And you love to see that in man coverage. It's the thing that he provides. Here he is, a deep free safety, because that's what he's going to have to do to replace Jessie Bates, right? Single high, manning the middle of the field. You got a nice deep crosser coming, and the quarterback here just wants to place it behind the linebacker, Clay Johnston, 44, and in front of the safety, and you leave him no room and lay a hit. Man, Dax Hill again now moving up into the box. It looked like he was going to blitz, and he recognizes that it's a screen pass and says, okay, they're not coming out here. Boom, hits that running back too. If it wasn't knocked down, I'd like to see how that play would have went. And here he is as a 3 safety package too. One of the first third downs of the game, he's covering the tight end in the slot.
So 42 snaps in Dax Hill's rookie debut, and like I said, thought he stood out instantly in terms of athleticism. But also in his demeanor. He seemed like he knew what he was doing. The Bengals moved him all around. He was at strong safety, he was at free safety, he was at slot corner. I think it was, I'm going off memory here, and I'm getting older, but it was 21 snaps at free safety, and it was 8 at slot corner, 8 in the box. So pretty even split between being a free safety and being a gadget guy that can come down, move around, blitz, and take on tight ends and slot receivers, which I think it was the first third down. It was the deep one that on the right side, the pass interference early in the game. But I showed the pick in that video clip before this. To see them come out in 3 safety look right away and like put them on the tight end, I'm like, yeah, that's like it's a hint right there on what they want to do with it. And I think that really is key. You see a few man coverage situations. The one where he jumps up and almost picks that ball in the end zone. Again, he's in man coverage on the slot guy. He comes down and it gets that other PBU out of a deep free safety position. From the strong safety position, blows up a screen, or would have if Jeffrey Gunter didn't knock it down. Those are all high-end plays. Now, it wasn't all good, though, because I think Dax Hill, we showed in college, he's a thin guy. Sometimes in run defense, he can get moved a little bit and run over. There were a couple tackles that I thought, bigger, stronger dude probably just drops that guy in his tracks right then and there, where Dax really couldn't, and he bounced off one right near the goal line. On a play, I think he read, too, from the end zone angle. It's just a slant, but I think the quarterback looks right, gets Dax to take one step, comes back to the left and throws it, and Hill cracks him about 2 steps after the guy catches it, and Hill bounced off, and the guy got another 2 yards or so, the receiver for the Cardinals. So that is something to keep an eye on, and something we knew. It's not a surprise. Probably going to fill out as he grows. He's a young man, and this one of the youngest guys in this draft class. Getting stronger, getting more physical. That's all parts of his game that we pretty much knew would need developed. And other than being the deep free safety, I mean, did it 80 times in college or last year for Michigan. He really didn't do it too much. So to get 20 snaps, that's why a guy like that's going to play so much in preseason. You can get him 20 snaps all 3 preseason games. Maybe not the third one, but you get him 40 in the first 2. That's half of what he had in college as a deep free safety. That's a lot of experience, a lot of quick experience for him in this situation. I think first game, flying colors. Think of Jessie Bates as deep free safety. We know he's not the best tackler, not the most physical guy. When you have range like that and you can cover and man and you can do these things and you can, be an athletic freak that can get to plays that other guys shouldn't have to, you can miss a couple tackles. You can bounce off guys. Now, sure, we want it to get better. But I do think that's an area where I'm okay with if you're going to be so good at all these other areas. And just looking at that 3 safety package and Jessie Bates being in the stadium, right, because he was. He's in a suite watching the games. I can't wait for him to show up because I think the idea of Hill and Bates out there, really, coverage-wise, geez, they would be able to cover so much ground. And then you can put Von Bell in the box and do different things with him. And then if you feel comfortable that they all can do it, because that's why you're doing so much with Dax Hill now, can he handle everything? First test, yes, he can. That's exciting. That does a lot for your defense. You can do a whole lot with that. There was a play, and I think it was that deep ball also, where Dax Hill ends up rotating down as a strong safety. It's Tyson Anderson to get all the way over as the free safety. And I'm just like, oh, if that's Bates, I'm not even sure if that's an issue. Bates probably gets to that guy because he has such great range and anticipation. And it just made me think of the defense then. If you can have those guys do that sort of thing where he's covering in man coverage and Bates is the deep free safety. That makes you so much more dynamic. A couple of shout outs to other players that I thought had standout performances. First is Chris Evans, second-year running back out of Michigan, another Michigan guy. Didn't have a lot of carries at Michigan. I think that's important. Didn't have a lot of pass blocking snaps in Michigan. Also important because that's why I believe he played so long into this first preseason game. There's some worry that maybe he is running back 3. Maybe the Bengals really don't, see these flashes as a consistent thing that they can count on. And then first play, rip, down the side, 70 yards. I don't care if there's a hold, the acceleration, the agility, seeing it instantly and making that cut. I'm not sure that guy would have made the tackle anyways on the edge. He wasn't fast enough to do that. And so, great play by Chris Evans. Then he had a kick return that was also really good. He had a touchdown to the left side that was really good. Also called back for a holding. Yeah, Chris Evans had a day. I want to see more pass protection still, man. We got to get him out there and really let the ball rip and see how he does with that, because I think there is still an avenue for him to make this team and make a lot of carve out a role for him actually in this offense. I also want to give a shout out to Drew Chrisman, because Evan McPherson is the star of the show on special teams and Chrisman's in a battle with Kevin Huber. But when Evan McPherson went out there for a 58-yarder and they say the holder is Chrisman, I leaned forward. I said, okay, what do we got here? Let's see. Can you hit these long ones even with a different holder? And he nailed it down the pipe. So that's a good one for him. I mean, not a lot of people are going to look at who the holder is on that, but it's important in this because I thought their punts were exactly the same, Chrisman and Huber. I know Chrisman's supposed to have a stronger leg. We didn't, through camp, through preseason, I can't tell the difference right now. I'd like to see him boom one or a couple in preseason. That'd be awesome. But the holding is the important part. Those are putting the points on the board. That continues, or they have confidence in all situations in them. That bodes well for the young man. Also, Kendrick Pryor, number 19 at receiver, right? How many crazy plays can you make in one game? 3 at least crazy catches. The touchdown at the end's not crazy. He runs a good route, gets open, and scores. But the one down the sideline in first quarter, I want to say it was, I can't even get a clean view. I'm like, his feet are in. But then the one-hander down the one sideline on the same play that Volson picks up the nickel guy. That plays down, he's just laying it up there. And for Kendrick Pryor to see it adjust, which I thought his ball tracking was definitely what looks good for him there so far. He doesn't look the fastest, doesn't look the quickest. Ball tracking in hands for sure. But to turn and catch it, like that is very impressive. He also had a very good, now this is important, he had a very good gun. He's a punt gunner. He had a good release and a good track down the field. Again, he's not fast. I don't think he's fast because as he made the guys miss and ran down the field, I'm thinking, okay, well, you made him miss, but, we'd like a little bit more speed on those guys if you can. So Pryor's interesting to watch. If there is a final wide receiver and if he can make the team, because he wasn't a punt returner in college, will we see him do that at all? Is that strictly Trent Taylor, who had a great game as well? I mean, he's locking up that active top 5 receiver position on game days because he's going to be the punt returner, and he can get open as a slot guy. He can. So those are my guys that are thumbs up after the first week. I'm not going to do any thumbs down right now. One performance, even Jackson Carman, I'm not ready to throw him out completely. Some people are ready to light a fire and just end the second round nightmare. I still want to see him play. He's a young guy that can develop. I still want to see it. It's preseason. Or maybe help Skip Brayton a nail in a concussion. Maybe we don't want to see it. I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But I'd like to see him get more reps in practice. And with that, that's our first week here, our first show. First preseason for me as well. Like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment. Tell me how I did. Did I ramble too long? I may have. I feel like I did. Anyways, I'm Joe Goodberry. This is Bengals on the Brain. See you next week.